Hi everyone, it's Charlotte from Charlotte's Minimalism Journey. I just want to point out that I have got a bit of a cold, so if I sound different, that is why. What we're going to talk about today are items that I still purchase that deep down I really know that I shouldn't, as someone who wants to move forward in being more minimal and more sustainable in the things that I buy. Now, before we get into it, I just want to point out that from my point of view, there is no shame. So many of us lead such busy lives that sometimes it is just easier to pick up the plastic alternative or buy something maybe in a packaging that isn't recyclable. We are very busy people, and it's not about us doing absolutely every possible thing we can to be more minimal and be more sustainable. It is us just making some small changes that means we're contributing to a better world. Not all of us at this moment can do everything we can to make the world a better place. And I think as long as we're trying, that is kind of the point. For me, some of these things on the list I do want to stop using and stop buying in the very near future. But at the point of making this video, they're either still in my house because of a recent purchase, or they are things that I will continue to buy either indefinitely or until I come up with an alternative that is suitable for myself. So I just want to repeat, no shame if you do still buy any of these things or other things that would be considered bad for the environment or bad for the planet. As long as we're all really trying and we really do our best with what we can, then that's better than doing nothing at all. So please bear that in mind as you watch this video. I am going to start off with what I think is probably the worst one that I have, and that is plastic disposable straws. I have a pack of these in my house that I bought in bulk a very long time ago, so I probably have over 200 left, and I really try not to use them because I don't want to now contribute them to the environment and landfills and things like that. But I am very aware that they are in my house and I know they're in my cupboard and I don't just want to throw them out, so they are just still in there. I bought straws for when I get sick. As a person, I have quite low immunity and I get ill quite often, and the most common thing I get is colds, and through that often really terrible sore throats. And something that I've just helped with taking fluids at those times is having straws. So for me, I have now come into this journey of trying to be more sustainable. I am going to be investing in probably bamboo straws, but at the same time, I still know I've got this pack of plastic straws in my house and I don't know what the best solution is for them. Do I use them very occasionally, like I've said, when I'm sick, but then they're still going to go into the bin? Or do I just keep them in my cupboard forever because at least that way they'll never go in the bin? But I can't get rid of them, and I definitely can't get rid of them and having not used them. So it's a bit of a difficult one to do because I really don't want to put all these straws into the bin, but they are still in my house. It is one thing I know that I'm not going to purchase from this moment forward, but I still know they're in my house, and for me it's kind of like a war in my head, like a moral dilemma. What am I supposed to do with them? So any suggestions would be greatly appreciated on that one if you want to let me know in the comments below. Or if you've had something similar where you've previously bought something, you've got a lot of that item and now you don't know what to do with it because you don't just want to throw it in the trash. So number 2 is plastic food bags. I no longer use them for sandwiches. I used to take sandwiches to work every single day, but now I am taking soup in a reusable thermos it comes with a reusable spoon that folds up and goes inside, which is lovely. But I am still putting an apple every day into a food bag, and I imagine that sounds really weird to a lot of people. But for me personally, as someone who gets sick quite a lot, I have managed to develop some level of germophobia over the years, and so me just placing an apple into my lunch bag is something that I'm really not comfortable with. And then if I'm going to put that directly into my mouth, that's just not something I'm okay doing. I need it to be wrapped in something to keep it from picking up germs. Even if it's not picking up germs, my paranoia just won't sit well with it. So I need to come up with some sort of alternative, either a small container to put my apple in every day for work, and then that'll be it with the food bags. So hopefully, again, as with the straws, I won't be purchasing any more food bags. Number 3 is chemical cleaners. I've seen a lot on the internet, on YouTube and on Instagram lately about how we should be stepping away from chemical cleaners because they're damaging to our skin and to our environment, and I absolutely get that, and I have stopped using chemical cleaners in certain areas of my house, but there are some rooms in the house, the bathroom is one of them, and then the kitchen is another, where I just feel like I need to use a chemical cleaner to actually get rid of the bacteria. Personally, I have not done enough research into this to know whether different types of cleaners work just as well as a chemical cleaner, and that is probably the case. I've seen people talk about how they use homemade cleaners and they just put them together themselves and they're fine, and those people don't seem to be getting sick. So there's probably no reason why I can't use a cleaner I've made myself at home, but at the minute I am still using chemical cleaners. So if there's any sort of articles you can link for me below or anything like that that sort of clears up some of these things and makes me realise that chemical cleaners are perfectly suitable for bathrooms and kitchens and do actually kill bacteria, then that's great. And the problem with chemical cleaners is a lot of them come in single-use plastic bottles with the squirty tops. Now, the plastic bottles that we use are recyclable, but even so, if I could be using glass bottles at home that I never have to throw away and I just reuse, that would be even better. Number 4 is CDs and DVDs. Now, this is a have recently purchased situation again, because this year I've decided to go on a no-buy, and one of the things I've told myself I'm not allowed to buy at all is any sort of physical media, so CDs and DVDs are off the cards for me at the moment. But even so, recently I have been a purchaser of CDs and DVDs, despite the fact that they're becoming really redundant now. Everything is online and downloadable, but for some reason it's just not something I've ever considered to be a problem. But then when you really think about it, they come in the plastic cases, they've got to be manufactured, they've got to be shipped, and it's all completely unnecessary when everything is online. So that's something I've already cut out, but have recently been guilty of purchasing when it is completely unnecessary. Number 5 is meat and dairy. I still have some meat and dairy products in my life. I have not completely cut them out. I've definitely reduced the amount of meat and dairy I eat, but they've not gone entirely. I don't really have a good enough reason for not fully cutting out meat in my life, because I know there are other ways to get protein, and previously that was my argument. It was a good way to get protein, but I know you can even get just direct meat substitutes now that are high in protein, so there's no excuse in terms of that. My husband does prefer real meat, and so sometimes it is just easier if I'm cooking to do both of us the same meal rather than having 2 different meals planned. Again, people leading very busy lives. Sometimes you just need a quick option, feed both of us, and then that's done. With dairy, I do have a little bit more of a reason why I've not cut out dairy. Again, having done some more research into how animals are treated and just veganism in general, I definitely know that my excuses aren't valid. There is absolutely no justification for the murdering of animals or using animals for animal products. I absolutely know that. The one thing that concerns me with cutting out dairy is I've recently read that your body can only deal with lactose and dairy whilst you're putting it into your system, and it's sort of a use it or lose it situation, and then if you stop, then introduce dairy back later on, then your body doesn't know how to deal with it and you can develop lactose intolerance even if you never had it before. And that's not something I'm quite ready to risk at this time. I don't know if I could commit to never having dairy again, and I don't want the complications. I already have quite enough issues with my health. I don't want any other complications that will arise from cutting dairy out of my diet. So I absolutely know I am completely unjustified in my reasoning, but for now it's just the way I've decided to go with things. I'm not saying that's set in stone, but it's just how I'm thinking at the minute, and that may change in the future, it may not, and I've not made a definitive decision on that yet. Number 6 is contact lenses. I buy my contact lenses, I have a monthly subscription to those, and I think it costs me £13 a month, so it's not the most expensive thing in the world, but I rarely wear them. I rarely wear contact lenses, so in a way it's a complete waste of my money that I'm buying contact lenses. I will wear them occasionally for weddings and parties. If I'm going out somewhere nice or somewhere formal or somewhere that is more business-like, I will wear contact lenses for that occasion. The only thing that keeps me justifying the payments I'm making for them is because of the way the optician service that I use works. If I have the direct debit set up for contact lenses, if I have that recurring every month, then I get a discount on my glasses when I buy them, and the discount is quite substantial. If the frames are over £100, you can almost get them half price. So sometimes it can be justified. I don't think I've ever had a saving that is worth £13 over the course of 12 months, and I do get new glasses every year. So in a way, I know the numbers don't add up, but at least then I've always got contact lenses for when I need them, and I know I'm not paying full price on my glasses. So I'm kind of justifying it in my head, and it's completely unnecessary. It's an unnecessary expense. And again, it's an unnecessary use of plastic. They come in those little plastic containers. They're being delivered to my house, which means I know they're being transported in some way, which isn't as good for the environment. So again, another thing that I probably shouldn't have, I shouldn't use, but I still am. And again, the reason it's on this list is because I've not decided what I'm going to do about it yet. I don't know if I'm just going to continue it and keep going. I don't know if I'm going to start wearing my lenses more, or if I'm going to cancel it and not bother anymore. Number 7 is greetings cards. So birthday cards, Christmas cards, thank you cards, and all of those. I've always been a big fan of sending cards because I just feel like it's a way to let a person know you're thinking about them, particularly friends and family that are really important in your life but you don't necessarily see as often or speak to as often as you'd like. It's just a way of saying that I'm thinking of you at this time, and I just think it's really nice. I love to receive a card. I love to know, let's say on my birthday, that a family member I haven't spoken to in months remembered that it's my birthday and they sent me a card to wish me a happy birthday. I absolutely love that. I think it's really nice. And I know there are alternatives, such as speaking over social media or sending an email or something like that, but I just don't feel like it has the same touch. And again, I know it's something completely unnecessary because it's a lot of cards have got things on them, details, glitter, certain things that just can't be recycled. So what would have been an ordinary piece of card that could have been recycled now becomes something that probably can't. And again, it's got to be delivered to your house. Someone's got to do that. And so again, it's nothing positive in terms of saving money or helping the environment, but it's just one of those things that I think is absolutely lovely. The only alternative that I see that I would like to do in this situation, which I've seen other people do, is, for example, at Christmas, they let their friends and family know that they're not going to be purchasing Christmas cards, and instead they donate the money they would have used buying Christmas cards to a charity of their choice. And I think that's a lovely idea. That's something I can really see myself getting into. However, I do worry that I would then think, oh, do they think I've forgotten about them? Or they'll judge me because I couldn't even be bothered to spend a few pence on them for a card or something like that. And I don't want anyone to think I've forgotten them. I want them to think I've thought of them. So for me, that's a really tough one, just on an emotional level. So again, non-justifiable, really. It's just one of those things on the list, which is kind of why this is a bit of a confessions video. Number 8 are disposable sanitary products, so pads and tampons I'm still using. I think my preference moving forward with this would be to go down the menstrual cup sort of route. I'm not really thinking I'll be a fan of reusable pads or anything like that. I think really I just need to put some research into this, and I want to learn a little bit more about it before I decide what my chosen route will be. But that is one of the things I am conscious of, one of the things that is a priority for me to begin changing. So that's right up there on the top of the list. Number 9 is fruit and veg from the supermarket, still wrapped in plastic. And again, this is just my issue because I don't like the idea of fruit and veg that people have picked up thinking about what could have been on their hands. With vegetables I'm going to cook, it's not even a little bit of an issue because you wash them and then you cook them, they get nice and hot, so I feel like the bacteria has been destroyed. However, with like fresh fruit, for example, even if I wash them, I still have some level of paranoia. I am going to actively sort myself out on this one because my local supermarket has recently started doing non-wrapped fruit and veg. This is actually quite new for them. So before I didn't have an option, it was that or nothing, but now they are doing loose fruit and loose veg. So I'm going to hopefully find myself a reusable produce bag, and then I'll be picking my fruit off the shelves and washing it and just having to sort of trust it and get over myself basically, because that is one of the things that I think puts most plastic currently into my basket when I go shopping is fruit and veg. So we're going to change that. We're not going to let ourselves do that anymore. So that one is also near the top of my priority list to change. My final one kind of doesn't count anymore. It was right up there with straws in terms of how terrible I know it is that I still purchase this item. And that was cotton buds, or I think in America you might call them cotton swabs. So the little plastic stick with like the little bits of cotton wool on the end that people use in their ears, even though we're told you're really not supposed to put them in your ears. I always use them. I use them pretty much daily because I can't bear the feeling of water in my ears after a shower. I know, again, it sounds ridiculous. But even like if you use your towel to try and dry in your ear, I feel like it just doesn't quite get all the water out, and I just hate that feeling. So that was really high up there until the other day. I was using them and I had in my mind that I was going to be making this video and I knew I'd be talking about them, and I was just thinking, why do I still use these? And I had a look at them and I completely hadn't noticed, but the brand I use that make them have changed them. They're no longer plastic sticks, they are paper tubes with the cotton wool on the end, and so they're not even using plastic in the product anymore. And so in a way that's brilliant, that's absolutely fantastic. It means I can buy them and feel far less guilty about it, but it kind of now doesn't fit in the theme with my video, and I really only technically have 9 items, but that was my 10th. Well, it was actually my first, but it got bumped to 10th because it changed. But that's brilliant because now one of the products that I was using that I thought I might have to give up, I now don't have to give up, or at least I can use it without feeling as guilty as I previously would have. So in a way, that's great. And that's pretty much it for this week. So those were 10 sort of 9 things that I still buy or have recently purchased that deep down I know I shouldn't. And again, remember, we all just need to do our best. As long as we're doing our bit, maybe you can't change everything, maybe your lifestyle won't allow for it, or maybe, like me, you've just got a lot of quirks that kind of interfere with some of your good intentions. And again, no shame from me because I'm one of the weirdest ones out there when it comes to some of my justifications for why I still buy things. So let me know down below what items you still buy and whether they make you feel guilty or why you buy them, or what items you know you shouldn't buy and you can absolutely justify it and you think, no, it is fine, I can buy this and because. Let me know. And since I keep, for some reason, making videos, I know I said I would, so here we are. This is my 4th video now. If you want to follow along with me, you can check me out first of all on Instagram. It's Charlotte's_minimalist_journey. And if you want to subscribe just for future videos, then that'd be great. I would love to see some familiar faces come back. That'd be lovely. So that's me done for this week. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.